Most music teachers are pricing their lessons in a way that guarantees they'll stay broke. Not because they're not good enough, not because there's no demand, but because they're selling the wrong thing entirely. I know because I did the same thing until I changed the way I charged and went on to make multiple six figures teaching drums online. I'll show you exactly what most teachers get wrong with pricing, what to charge instead, and why charging more will actually get you better students. Here's the core problem with hourly pricing. When you charge by the hour, you're telling the student you're paying for my time. But that's not what they want, right? They want to play their favorite song. They want to stop second guessing themselves every time they sit down to practice. They want to actually feel like they're getting better. Nobody wakes up thinking, I really want to purchase 60 minutes of someone's presence. They think, I want to finally learn this. So when you charge $50 an hour, you're not necessarily speaking to what they want. You're just offering time. And time is easy to compare, easy to shop around, and easy to walk away from. That's why students cancel. That's why they ghost you after a few weeks. That's why you end up with students who don't necessarily practice or don't commit. It's not because they're bad students. It's because nothing about the setup gives them a reason to. And it's a trap for you too. The only way to earn more is to teach more hours. There's no other lever. So you can't take a week off without losing income. And if a student cancels last minute, that hour's just gone. So what do you do instead? You stop selling time and start selling a result. So instead of saying, I charge $60 an hour, you say, I'll help you play 5 songs in 1 month. One of those sells time, one of those sells a transformation. Which one of those sounds more valuable? There are basically 3 ways to do this. One is with package pricing. You bundle a set number of sessions around a specific goal. 4 sessions to help you learn your first 3 songs, $200. Clear goal, clear timeline, clear price. Students love it because it feels achievable, and you love it because the money's locked in up front. The second is a monthly membership, right? A flat monthly rate that includes weekly lessons, feedback, and a bit of support in between. Something like $300 a month, for 4 sessions plus ongoing check-ins. That way, a cancellation just turns into a reschedule, right? It doesn't necessarily affect your income, and they're paying for access to you and your coaching and not just a single slot. Third option is premium coaching, and this is what I moved to. I built a 12-week program around a specific transformation for drummers. So here, it is a bit of a higher price, but you have fewer students and you generally get better results, right? When I first launched my program, I was charging $1,000 for a 12-week program. I didn't think anyone would pay it, right? But they did. And at the peak of my business, I was actually charging twice that. Now, all 3 of these work for the same reason. You're not selling time. You're selling an outcome. And when you do that, students self-select. The ones who sign up are serious, and the ones who don't, they weren't going to stick around anyway. So if you want help figuring out which one of these is right for you, I've actually got a free community called Musician Freedom where I help teachers figure this stuff out, and links down below. Come and join us. This is the part that feels a little counterintuitive. When you charge more, you don't get fewer students who care. You actually get more students who care. When someone pays $30 for a lesson, it's easy to cancel, it's easy to skip practice. There's no real skin in the game, right? But when someone has invested, a few $100s or $1,000 into a coaching program, boy, do they show up, right? They practice, they take it seriously, because they have to, right? The financial commitment kind of changes their behavior. And there's a saying in coaching that's like, those who pay attention. And I saw this firsthand. When I moved to a more premium package, my students' results went up dramatically. And not necessarily because I became a better teacher overnight, but just because they were more invested. And because they were more invested, I was more motivated. So I started refining everything. Higher prices create a better experience for both sides. Now, I know what you're thinking. My students won't pay that. If I put my price up, I'll lose everyone. Maybe some will leave, but some will stay. And the ones who do stay, they're going to be really committed, right? And the new ones you attract will be the kind of students who will actually make your teaching more enjoyable. Plus, when you teach online, you're not limited to whoever's nearby, right? The serious students exist everywhere. You just need to be priced correctly enough for them to find you. Maybe you don't struggle with the idea of raising your prices, but maybe you struggle to feel worthy of them. Maybe there's a little voice in your head that says like, well, who am I to charge that much? And honestly, it's a fair question, right? It means that you care about the value that you're giving, not just what you're earning. But here's what most teachers kind of miss. Raising your prices is one of the best ways to become a better teacher. When students pay more, they show up more seriously, they practice, they listen, and they care about their results. And when that happens, you care more too, right? You plan better lessons, you give sharper feedback, you hold yourself to a higher standard because you know they're trusting you at a higher level. When I first charged $1,000 for my coaching program, I did not feel ready. I felt pressure, but it was kind of a good pressure. It pushed me to refine everything, to make sure that every student got real results. Higher prices don't just attract better students, they create better teachers. And to be clear, this doesn't mean suddenly charging $500 a month and hoping for the best, right? It means you work your way there. Obviously, you improve your skills, your systems, your results, but you're earning enough to stay in the game long enough now to grow. Charging more isn't about ego, it's about growth, right? And when both you and your students have more skin in the game, everyone shows up better. But even once that clicks, there's usually one more thing holding teachers back, which is something along the lines of, yeah, but music should be for everyone. And that's true, right? It really should be, but keeping your rates low doesn't actually make that happen. A lot of teachers hold on to low pricing because it feels generous, right? Like you're helping people who couldn't otherwise afford lessons. But the reality is that nowadays, music education has never been more accessible than it is right now. There's free content everywhere, right? YouTube, apps, online communities. There's cheap options in every direction. And in a world already full of free and cheap, undercharging doesn't make you generous, it's just going to drain you. These big companies that offer these services, they can afford to teach cheap because they have teams and budgets that you can't compete with. And if you try and match them, you're not making music more accessible. You're just joining a race that's going to be very difficult to win. And when good teachers like you can't make a living, they quit. And when that happens, nobody gets access, right? If you care about keeping music education alive, make your own work sustainable first. Because when your income is solid and you can actually help more people, you can create things like free workshops or group programs or scholarships or whatever that looks like for you. And I'm certainly not saying like price gouge anyone, right? If someone's struggling and you want to help them, obviously help them, right? But making a living from teaching isn't the opposite of generosity. It's what makes that generosity possible. If you want to know exactly how to put this into practice, how to structure your offer, how to find the right students and build something that actually pays you properly, I walk through the whole system in this video, so go and check that out. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.